age-related changes. It's a fact in life that all of us get older. It's a fact in life that many people don't want to go old. So that's why there's a lot of interest in want to live long. From time immemorial, Qin Shi Huang was said to be looking for something that will make him live as long as possible, or possibly not to die. Yeah? And so have all the kings and whatever in Europe have similar wishes and aspirations. So this topic is of interest, and there is an Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine in almost all the civilized countries in the world, including in Singapore. So there are conferences on anti-aging medicine. I've attended a couple of them, and they're quite eye-opening. So I have updated the data that I have, and this is what I have to share with you. But first, let's say something about terahertz, which is a blower that all of us uses. And terahertz radiation is in the electromagnetic spectrum. Now we all can see because of the light. Light is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. On one end you have X-rays, ultraviolet light, and all the kind of rays that are harmful to your body because of its effect on the human cell. On the other end, light here, there's all the gamma radiation, and on the other end you have all the radio waves where you can tune in, you can watch television, and listen to the radio because of all these waves. So it's part of this spectrum. So what's it used for? It's used mainly television, where they seem to be better than microwave. You don't know, but microwave is also used in television. And the thing about terahertz is that as far as our human body is concerned, our body seems to resonate with the frequency which is equivalent terahertz frequency. That's the most part. So this is the entire electromagnetic spectrum. As I said, it ranges from radio waves all the way to X-rays and gamma rays. Visible light is only this narrow strip. And then you have infrared, ultraviolet. Cameras that can take pictures in the dark are infrared cameras. You may be aware that such cameras are available. So in the dark, if I want to see things, I use this camera, I can see things because of the infrared. And then terahertz is there. Then it's important to realize this because some people think that terahertz wave is like magic. It's not. It shares properties with infrared, it shares properties with microwave. And that's why it's also useful because of this property. Now, terahertz, there's a breakthrough in the 1990s when science has advanced to a stage where we can actually generate terahertz waves, we can detect and we can monitor. Of course, we can do that with radio waves, right? With the right equipment, you can detect, capture, you can actually extract from the radio waves signal for your radio, for your television set, right? The thing about terahertz waves is that it can detect concealed objects. You can identify things. Flowing pipes, you can see them. And recently, if you read the news, you would have read that China is able to detect submarines in the sea by using terahertz waves. Terahertz waves can detect the tiny bubbles that the marines give out, that the submarines give out. So that's what it's used for. And 2011 was a breakthrough when terahertz was used on a very ancient painting. You know that old painting sometimes they paint over it, a new picture. So they were able to uncover an ancient painting, and the name of the artist was on it. So now that is something extremely exciting to be able to do that without disturbing the top. Nowadays, in a lot of sciences, especially in archaeology, you can see without opening up all the topsoil because of all these things. So this is of interest, but more important than that, it is non-ionizing. Unlike X-rays and gamma rays and all that, it does not break up molecules. So if it's used on the human body, it is therefore safe. And now that we're able to detect terahertz waves, we discover one thing. Human body also give out terahertz waves. How many of you are Qigong practitioners? If you are, you know what I mean. When you do some Qigong exercise, you can actually feel energy terahertz waves. That's the remarkable thing. So in the past, we don't know much about terahertz waves because radio waves were studied in electronics and infrared was studied under photonics or on the study of light. And so people call this a terahertz gap. We don't know much about it. But recently, if you read the news also, you realize that China is very advanced and they are looking at photonic chips, right? Chips are usually silicon. I don't mean the potato chips. I mean the electronic integrated circuit chips. They are silicon mainly. China has come up with photonic chips. So it's studied under photonics now. All the universities in the world are studying that, including our local university. Our local university has put up papers of microwave. of terahertz waves and its effect. So this is a subject of intense study. So what is its application? I said the stories that I tell you is about military and security. But its most important use is in telecommunication. How many of you have a 5G phone? You don't have. You have. Good. You know what waves is being used in 5G? It's microwave.
I thought it's very bad.
It's microwave. Huh?
I thought it's very bad.
Very bad, huh?
I mean, this 5G wave.
Why?
5G, they say that they cause cancer.
No, it doesn't. The one that causes cancer is, I just remember a few slides. The one that causes cancer is here. This one. This side doesn't. Microwave is here. Radio wave don't cause. It's the other things that go along with it. Last time they said phone can cause cancer, right? Because of the energy. You see, not the wave. The energy. Of course, you have to understand this, that the wave itself doesn't cause splitting. But if the energy is there, the energy can do a lot of things. For example, heat doesn't cause anything, right? But I give you boiling water heat, 100 degrees centigrade, you get burned, something like that lah. But the heat itself doesn't kill. In fact, you need the heat. So it's important to understand that. And it's also used in agriculture. So I look up some of this and it was very interesting. How do they monitor drought? They monitor drought by using Terahertz blower, and they measure the plant. With that, they can detect the amount of water in the plant. When the amount of water goes down, a drought is coming. Something like our body, isn't it? So in health and medicine is being used because it's non-ionizing, it doesn't harm you. It resonates at the frequency of our body. So it's used in diagnosis. There are a lot of research on this, and you can detect things. And China is one of the leading countries that use Terahertz. They have used that, and you can detect things that are hidden better than a lot of X-ray scan. And of course, therapy devices include ours. Of course, a lot of companies also produces terahertz waves, but I think this we have better variation in models that are 3 different. So how is it that terahertz can heal? The healing properties of terahertz come from 2 things. One, from the heat, and secondly, from the vibration. So when you talk about heat, that's where terahertz is similar to infrared. If you have you all heard of infrared sauna? Saunas and infrared. It's not as hot as traditional sauna in that the air is not heated up. But when you reach your body absorbs it. That's heat. So terahertz, which is far infrared, share properties with infrared in that it's able to heat up your body. And the heat can heal. It can penetrate, it can heal. So a lot of scientists say that no, we don't want to look at the heat spec. We want to look at whether the frequency itself will heal. And yes, it does. Papers that don't have the heat component, just the vibration alone, that heal. And yes, indeed, we know that a lot of vibration, a lot of frequencies can have effects on our body. And so, in a way, that's unique about terahertz. It's a frequency that causes changes. So the properties of terahertz is that it is able to penetrate through material. So you can wear your clothes and you can blow. It will penetrate, but it's absorbed by a certain material, polar compound. Polar compounds are compounds with 2 poles, positive and negative. In other words, any compound that conducts electricity will be absorbed. So terahertz will be absorbed by any conductor of water conducts. If you're wet and you touch water and the current passes through your body, you're gone because it conducts electricity. The other thing is that terahertz can change the shape of molecules because of this problem. And why it can change the shape of molecules? Because the energy in terahertz is similar to a chemical bond. If you know chemistry, you know that substances are attached to one another through chemical bonds which are very strong, right? Like salt, for instance. Salt is sodium chloride. It's chlorine and sodium. But salt doesn't look like sodium or chlorine because sodium and chlorine get attracted and they bind together in a very strong bond which gives it properties that are not in the original. So that's how strong chemical bonds are. But the forces that bind that terahertz has are very weak bonds. These are hydrogen bonds or van der Waals force. These are the kind of bonds that cause your protein to be bound together. Okay? And if you take egg white, for example, which is albumin, when the bonds are bound together, it's very liquid, isn't it? So when you cook the egg, what happens? Some of the bonds in the egg white breaks up and it turns solid. So that is a good illustration of the kind of forces binds proteins together. Same with water. If you drink terahertz water, as you know, are bound together. That's why when you pour out water, put the glass upright again, you find there's still water left because of the forces to bind water molecules together. So Terahertz water is when these molecules get broken up so that water now don't cling together. So as a result, it can regulate biological systems in our body. So that's the importance. So to summarize, these are the effects on the human body. It opens up blood vessels, the way it vibrates, cause water molecules and organelles in the cell. In the cell, there are small organelles called mitochondria, which do the work cell. And it can also normalize hyperactive cells. It can also activate DNA. So I'll go through this in detail. Now, it opens up blood vessels. In your body, your arterioles pump from the heart under high pressure, high protein, water, nutrients, and whatever that is oxygen that is needed by your cell leave the artery. So when it leaves the artery, what the cell needs, oxygen, water, whatever nutrients, the cell will absorb, and then whatever is not needed, waste, all the unwanted and waste products of the cell, then go back into the vein and go back to the heart. Now this is from the heart, so this is under pressure, this has no pressure. So the water sometimes accumulate in your tissue, and that's why you have lymph vessels which are like drainage pipe. They drain the excess liquid and go back to the heart. So blood is very important because it supplies your nutrient, water with oxygen, but more important is this part. When the waste product, carbon dioxide, and all the things that are unwanted that the cell produces must enter the blood again. So this brings whatever the cell is producing. For example, from the intestines, all the food that you eat, they get absorbed through this part. Waste product, and there's a lot of waste product. Waste products, if it's kept, can kill your cell. So this goes. So this is a detoxifying function, which is terribly important, and so far as aging goes, this is what we are concerned about, allow us to detoxify the waste product in our body. Inflammation. In the blood, you have these molecules. They are like the soldiers of a country. They attack any outsider, any bacteria, viruses, or whatever, and kill them. Their nucleus are usually, and they therefore protect you. Inflammation protects you, because if you're attacked by bacteria, virus, or whatever, even poison, these cells will come surround it, they engulf it, and then they have, of course, to expel from the body. However, sometimes these cells, this white blood cell, they become too hyperactive, and instead of attacking the enemy, it attacks your body instead. So this kind of disease are called autoimmune, inflammatory, and Terahertz has the ability to downgrade your inflammation and get it back to normal. So as I said just now, in the cell you have this organelle called mitochondria. So this enlarged mitochondria. It's more than enlarged, it's enlarged many times to show you the different function, from protein import, maintaining your membrane, signaling processes, producing molecules, to kill the cell, apoptosis. Unwanted things are then destroyed. DNA came in, and then they copy the DNA to make whatever molecules. Metabolism, transport, energy are very important. Energy in your human body is regulated by the various cycles which produce ATP. The more ATP your cell can produce, the more energy you have. So when you exercise, this thing gets activated, ATP, and you have the strength to move and do things. So Terahertz can activate all this depending on the cell, activate, and you have all these activities to allow you. Terahertz waves also have this ability to stimulate the repair, and in cases where the cell has outlived, the cell only has about 60 to 120 days beyond which cell has no more use. Right? And once the cell has passed its lifespan, it must be destroyed, isn't it? So how does a cell destroy itself? There are several things that happen, okay? And basically, it gets broken up, and then various fragments have proteins which give a signal, find me and eat. So this signal causes the inflammatory cells to come and engulf them and degrade them and expel them, convert them. So that's what happens in the body. That's how your body renews itself. Let's say every 3 months you have a totally new you, all your cells have changed. Isn't that wonderful? So, as I said just now, your inflammatory cells have the ability to kill external organisms. And this includes bacteria, viruses, and so forth. It protects you. So, Terahertz is able to sterilize them. This is how I got interested in therapy, because it was during COVID, and as usual, my usual interest, update myself with what is happening. COVID, everybody gets in COVID, right? And I read about a trial how terahertz waves have been used to treat people with COVID lung infection, and it was very effective. So that's how I got interested. It activates DNA. If you are aware, DNA comes in 2 strands, right? So there are times when you need the 2 strands to be opened up. One is when you need to read the DNA to make proteins, to do things, so it must be opened up. Then you have a printer here, kind of a printer, read the thing and then make to make it, and then to synthesize the protein that your body needs. Okay? Another reason why you need to zip it is when you need to multiply, you need to duplicate the DNA, isn't it? So to do that, you need to unzip, right? And of course, the DNA has various chemicals that allow it. So Terahertz is able to initiate this. So they use methods to detect whether protein is synthesized or new DNA molecule is being made, and studies have confirmed that Terahertz has the ability to do that. Okay, let's come to aging. All of us don't want to grow old, all of us want to look young, and so what is aging? It's time-related deterioration of the various functions in your body that enable you to survive and to reproduce. Because that's what we're here for. In most animals, after they reproduce, they die soon after. Only human beings, after we reproduce, we still have a long life. So biologically, this is supposed to be a wastage because you serve no purpose. You need to propagate the species. But of course, we have other values, right? Important to us. So this thing happens because of the accumulation of a wide variety of damage occur over time. The damage is at the molecular level, at the level of the molecule. And at the cellular level, when the molecules are damaged, your cells also get damaged. That's why you age. So this was produced by our Ministry of Health in 2018 or 2019. You see the kind of diseases that all of us have. This is a disease burden of cancer, musculoskeletal, all the joint problems, muscular problems, heart disease, mental disorder, other non-cancer, diabetes, kidney, lung diseases, sense organ diseases, injuries. So this is the disease burden as a society here in Singapore that we have to bear. What about the life expectancy from 2015 to now? In fact, 2015 they're quite good life expectancy, above 80 years old. By now, females can be 86.7, which means life expectancy is average. If you understand average, it means that 50% of females will live up to 86. The other 50 will live more than 56. That is the meaning. So males, 50% will live up to 82. It means some will die, but 50% by the 82 or 80, almost 83 years old, 50% of your cohort is still alive. So this will live longer. So these figures give you the F. Now, this is interesting because recently there was a news report you may have known. You heard of this blue zone? Blue zone. There are some countries like Okinawa and all that. There are blue zone countries, Mediterranean. Their diet or their environment, their climate is such that people live longer. Singapore has been recently classified as a blue zone country. This means it's not the environment, it's that the government has implemented policies to make us live longer. So one of the policies is that they encourage health. So they give subsidies to seniors, so the seniors don't have, because they don't have cash, they don't go and see doctor. And the hospital facilities are first class. Not only that, people don't want to exercise, right? The government actually pay you to exercise, give you incentives. If you clock 100 minutes of how many minutes? 10,000 steps, you get a reward, isn't it? So there's a lot of incentive to do well. And the environment, they have parks, they have recreation parks where exercise aids there for you to do all kinds of exercise, right? So there's a lot of encouragement to keep healthy. In fact, one joke is that Malaysians say, you Singaporeans, they eat a lot and they go obese, and they say, oh, we're not like Singapore. We enjoy our food and we love to enjoy ourselves. Well, enjoyment have a cost. So what's the effects of aging? I think when you see a person, you can tell, right? The white hair, wrinkle, so forth. But what you can't see are the hearing loss, hearing deteriorate, the eye, cataract, and then you can't see clearer. I myself have cataract, both of which have been replaced by artificial lens. All kinds of bony problems, back, neck especially, because your spine is a weight bearing. It takes a lot of weight. Your neck takes the weight of your head, your back takes the weight of your entire body, and your knees and your hip take the weight of the entire body. That's why A lot of injuries there. Lung disease, lung surgery, you got to breathe. Heart disease, blood pressure, failing heart, kidneys, all these are related because of blood pressure. Then nerve, heart attack. As you get older, you tend to put on weight. All of us weight. Your muscle mass decrease, you lose muscle, you put on more fat. Diabetes cause problems in the eye, in the nerves, in the heart, kidneys, that of course you lose your memory and then you got dementia, right? Depression. So these are the effects of age. And it's not just we want to live longer, but we want to avoid these problems as much as we can. For some of these, like cataract, remedied hearing loss, you can get a hearing aid and improve on that. But some of these things you have to take care. Your heart, your lung, your nerves, your memory, your muscle. So how about physiological changes? Physiological changes is what go on inside your body, which you cannot see with the naked eye, but which if you do the investigations, tests, you can see. Now when we look at your body from the point of view of aging, all systems show degeneration. All your body systems, whether it's your heart, your lungs, your skin, everywhere. First, as far as the heart is concerned, the ability of your heart to pump blood is reduced. Your blood pressure, your artery gets narrowed because of the deposition. You can come and sit in front. It's okay. I won't eat you up. Yes. Thank you. So as you get old, deposits of fat get into your artery, and these are called atherosclerotic plaque. And these plaques cause narrowing. That's why you get strokes and heart attacks because of this atherosclerosis. So together with this, your ability of your lung to give you oxygen is reduced because the capacity is reduced. So young, you can breathe in and breathe out 4 liters of air, some people 3 liters. I have a smaller, because of my small body, my capacity, lung capacity less. So, but as you get older, it get even lesser. Gaseous exchange also get less because the border between the air and the blood get weaker. So as a result, as you get older, you find that you get out of breath more easily. That is a result. Similarly, your gut, your gastrointestinal system allow you to digest your food also becomes less active. And your liver's ability to metabolize also becomes less. You slow down. And then what happens as you grow old? You got osteoporosis, right? You lose your calcium. So your bones get thinner, your bones become more brittle, it breaks easily, you get fractures, and your bones actually shrink as you get older. You know that as you get older, you shrink by at least 1 to 2 cm. Sometimes, if you don't exercise, it shrink even more, but 4 cm like that. You actually get shorter as you get older, not taller. And then because bone degeneration. Bone degeneration is one problem. One reason why you grow shorter is that in your spinal, in your spine, in between each vertebrae, there is a cartilage, right? Anybody who have, we call that a prolapse disc will know, right? So if as you grow older, this cartilage becomes thinner, right? So there are 33. So there are 33 vertebrae. In between, you have a cartilage. So there are about 32 to cartilage in between, right? If each of these cartilage reduced by 1 mm, how many cm do you think you will lose? You can work it out. So that's what I mean. You lose this. And then of course the skin. You can see bones obviously. The skin can lose its ability. It dies out, it thins. And it's thinning because collagen got lost, elastin got lost. More important, effects of the skin is due to a lot of other factors. Most important of which is diabetes. Blood sugar level rise. So the risk of getting diabetes, the older you get, more likely you get. And type 2 diabetes is a result of aging, high blood sugar. Then psychological changes which impact our health. As you go through life, you have problems, you face things. As you get older, you live with a lot of griefs, things that you lost that you cherish dearly, a lot of regrets. Maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. I could have made $1 million if I have done that, due to past conflict. And sometimes it's hard for some people to accept the fact that they're growing old. They don't look like what they were before. There's anxiety and depression. Growing old also has to do with loss of role, right? I used to be active, I used to be president of this and president of that. As you get older, people don't want you to be president anymore, right? Even in your family, your children don't want you anymore. They live their own life, right? So there's a loss of role. You tend to get forgetful, and that's where dementia come in. This merits another talk by itself. Then there's a lot of free time because they have less things to do. People don't like your participation. They want others to replace you. So loneliness, very important factor. So all these things can impact the way we function, impact our behavior, and therefore the way our body. And that's why these things are important. That's why aging has also got to look at the psychological and the social aspect. So as you really go old, you find that you need a lot of support. Of course, central to the kind of society we live in fact central to almost all societies, families, both physical support, psychological support. So even in the West, if we need help, they may live all alone by themselves, they'll call their good friends. And I think that's why it's important that we maintain contact with our family and our friends. Then we need nutritional and medical support. So this kind of support has to do with professional services. Sometimes there can be some self-help where you can help yourself to some extent. But as you begin to get sickness, you need medical professional support from the medical services. And then of course, now, especially in Singapore, in other places, depending on how advanced they are, they may not have this community support, which has to do with homes, hospices and things. And of course, together with this, you will understand the need for caregivers. Nowadays, there are causes for people who look after the elderly. How do you communicate with them? How do you support them? These are important. But on the way there, we already face some of these problems. When you're really there, this is what you need. So the thing is, if we can postpone this as much as we can, that would be the idea, isn't it? So let's look at this. Look at life expectancy. 2017, just a few years ago, life expectancy is 84 years. Right? Healthy years, right? Life expectancy is 84 years, but healthy years is 74 years. So time spent in illness, 10 years. Well, how those 10 years, I don't know lah. What problem do you have, madam?
Hip joint.
Hip arthritis. Okay, that's a degenerative disease, isn't it? Can I use an example and talk a bit? So when you have this, there are a lot of things you can't do. So this is part of your 10 years you spend in ill health. Worse still is a person who spend in a hospital, diabetic in and out hospital. Every time they go into diabetic coma, in hospital, 1 week, and so forth. Can we reduce this? We want to, don't we? We want to live as long as we can, maintaining our health. And that's what this lecture is all about, this talk. We want to spend as little time as possible, is it? And if possible, we want to reverse that if we can. Can we? I don't know. We can reverse some things, we can't reverse others. And that is a challenge, see? But when we reverse all these things, all of us will live to 100 years. But people still get knocked out. There's such a thing as air disaster, aircraft crash. You cross the road the wrong way, that's the surest way to heaven. So we still get killed somehow or other. But at least we have the quality of life. And that's what anti-aging is all about. Quality. This looks at high blood pressure, cholesterol, and obesity. These three together kill. High blood pressure, cholesterol, and if you take obesity as an index of blood sugar, this is it, of diabetes. Why Singapore put diabetes as an important disease that we're going to focus on? Because of it, right? 2010, 13 years ago, it was 20%. Now it's 35%. 13 years ago, it was 26%. Now it's 40%. Obesity, gone down a little bit, come up again. These are the dangers, and you will see why. So when we talk about anti-aging, what do we try to do? We try and prevent or less. That is a classical death. In anti-aging medicine, anti-aging is to repair and regenerate. Can we repair? Can we reverse it and regenerate? What motivates people to live longer? People are enjoying their life, then something happens and they get motivated. Usually a current disease. I got interested after I got my heart attack at 53. I mean, we didn't think about that, isn't it? When we were young, we thought the world is before us, for us to conquer, we can live long. When we're teenagers, we don't think of dying, we think we'll live forever. And when the children come, you realize you don't live forever. Because when you start having children, each year that they grow older is so obvious, isn't it? You get reminded every time you celebrate their birthday, you know you're getting older, right? So, but you must also remember that anti-aging is highly individualized. There's no one size fit. Why is it individualized? Because it depends on your family history. If your parents have a history of this, why I got a heart attack at 53? Because my father had heart disease. And because he had heart disease, I have a heart attack. But my two brothers were not so fortunate. Both of them have stroke, so there you are. So it has to be individualized. What are the risk factors? You have to look at it and then tailor it yourself. And any pre-existing disease, please treat. Medical science is still best answer to your medical problem. It's true that a lot of doctors lie and a lot of scientists all give bullshit data. That's true. I'll be the first to admit. But it's medical science that enables us to live longer. And a lot of medical conditions require medical attendance, especially if you have a heart attack. If I have the heart attack, and if I did go for my stent at that time, I could have died. Why? Because the stent occurs in the inferior artery, which is one of the biggest artery of the heart. 3 points of blockage. You heard of people who have a heart attack and collapse and die? It always occurs in those. So if I didn't go to hospital and get my colleague stent me, I would have collapsed and died. I'm still alive 23 years, 22 years since. So obviously it was the right thing to do. So in those days, heart attack, you survive with no treatment, you will die immediately, or at most you survive a couple of years. When I was visiting at Stanford University at that time, so I did a mini research of heart patients, and from the interviews I learned that a lot of them have survived 10 years. Now, coming from Singapore at that time where people survive just only a couple of years, 10 over years record. Fantastic. This is a result of cardiac rehabilitation. But now that I have survived more than 20 years, isn't it a greater miracle that I can still be around, walking and active? So this is what medical science can. And I'm a little bit concerned, therefore, that some people in the testimonials page, say things like, oh, I have this, and I blow and it recovers. Say, impossible. With my knowledge of medicine, all the symptoms that he has tells me there's an acute emergency, and if you didn't get medical attention, you will probably die within a couple of months. Be blowing this up. This is not a medical device. Emphasize, this is not a medical device. This is a self-help device. Don't replace your doctor with this. It can't diagnose you and it can't treat you. Later on, you'll know why. I'll give you an example of why this is not a medical device. So let's move on. Now, a very important consideration of how well you are is the ability to move, isn't it? You must have the muscle to move. If you don't have the muscle, you can't move. You're called dependent, right? So muscle health is, you already have this, age related. Older you grow, the more muscle you lift up your hand, stay flat. If there is, you have lost muscle. Here is the most obvious. What is not so obvious is your back, your neck, your face, all over your body. You're losing muscle. Other things can cause you to lose muscle. Disease, psychological illnesses, poverty. When you're poor, you don't eat enough, so you don't have enough nutrition to give you muscle health. And when your muscles are gone, not only you move less, your quality of life is less, your risk goes up, your hospitalization increase, your need for home care, everything increase. Your mortality also goes up, chances of you dying. So muscle is a very important component of health. And if you were to ask me what is one thing I can do to live longer, my best answer, exercise. Best thing you can do. Exercise is what you can do. It helps you with your nervous system, it helps you with the metabolism, your blood glucose, your fatty tissue. People who are obese, who want to reduce weight, knows that if they exercise, they can reduce their fat. Skin regulates your temperature, your heart, your metabolism, everything. Right? Your oxygen transport, you can improve your oxygen uptake, your heart rate, your ventilation, which means instead of getting out of breath, if like me you exercise, you can run up the staircase and you don't feel that breathless. You can feel breathless a bit, still can walk. I don't have to get breathless and recover my breath. Muscle, increased turnover, the ATP, as I mentioned to you, has to do with energy. Your glucose uptake is better, so you don't get diabetes. Your blood flow is better, everything gets better. That's what it does. Moreover, when you exercise, not only you prevent your muscle from being lost, but it regulates your body temperature by, you know that when you get old, you get cold. And you get colder because the thing that generates heat in your body is your muscles. Your muscles generate heat. Yes, your people want to be fat so that they can keep warm. No. If you want to keep warm and be able to withstand cold, it's the muscles. When me and my colleagues were on a visit to Korea many years back, it was during winter, and the ladies were all wrapped up many layers until out. If they can cover every part of their face, they will have covered every part of the face. It was that cold, you see. And myself and the farmer rep, the pharma company in the rep, we were quite okay. We were very overcoat, that's true, but we were open air. We could withstand the cold. And the reason we could withstand the cold because I was exercising, so I have enough muscle to keep myself warm. Muscle, as I give you your metabolic rate, and also burns glucose all the time. So it keeps us warm. So it was I think minus 12 or 15 or whatever. Yeah, one layer enough because internally we generate the energy. So if you want to be able to withstand extremes of temperature, my best advice is exercise. So as far as mental health is concerned, what happens? When you exercise, this thing happens. You release hormones called endorphins. Endorphins make you feel good, so you feel happier. It improves your confidence and self-esteem. There's a term for it which is not here called self-efficacy. Self-efficacy means you know you can do it and you know you are able. This kind of self-efficacy comes about through exercise. It reduces stress. In fact, for stress, the best. Improve your sleep. The night that I sleep early is the night following exercise. Makes new friends when you exercise. You meet people and you get to know people as a result of your exercise. And if you exercise in a group, if it's a cycling group, it's a golf playing group, this is a jogging group, you make friends. So when your golfing partner pass away, when your jogging partner pass away, I remember him, we have a great time together doing the same things. So go there, you support him, whatever his exercise activities bring you together, and they give you the kind of support. Better concentration and focus, better memory. In fact, to keep your memory skill, to prevent dementia, exercise is again one of the prevention. So the best anti-aging thing, and to decrease the risk of all these diseases, which is what anti-aging is all about. Prevent heart disease, death, cold, common colds, muscle wasting, cancers, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke. Combine that with the blower. Terahertz makes you recover faster. Now don't exercise every day vigorously because it will damage your body. You need to recover. Terahertz. If your exercise is vigorous, alternate days, so that your body at least alternate days, or if not just twice a week vigorous activity. Otherwise you can harm your body. There are 4 types of exercise. Some people think that jogging is all that you need. Well, if you are young, that's all you need to do. But as you get older, you need to exercise for strength, you need to exercise for balance, you need to stretching. Strength and stretching are very close. I think balance is important, isn't it? As you get older, you tend to lose your balance. So be careful when you climb stairs or going downstairs. So you need to exercise for that. So let me go through. Endurance exercise sometimes is used instead of aerobic exercise, but they mean the same thing. Aerobic exercise increase the breathing and the heart rate. And when we think of aerobic, we think of running and jogging. It improves your heart, your lungs, and the circulatory system. Keep you healthy. So it prevents diseases, as we say, but more important than prevent this, I want to draw attention, is stimulate stem cells. Exercise actually causes your body to produce more stem cells. And stem cells, what does it do? Repair and regenerate. So that's why it is important, and of course it's for weight control. So different kinds of aerobic exercise. Brisk jogging will be dancing, swimming, climbing stairs, hiking up a hill. What's Swiss Hotel? It's now called Swiss Hotel, right? I understand they are bringing back the up the stairs marathon. And one of my friends was doing that. He says they used to do it all the time, and now that it's back, he said he's going to do it again. That is endurance. Physically demanding chores, playing tennis, use an exercise prescription. Why use an exercise prescription? Because 60 to 80% of maximum. How do you work out your maximum heart rate? Take 220 minus your age. So the older you are, your maximum heart rate gets lower. And you exercise until 3/4 of your maximum. Very important. And what is enough aerobic exercise? 20 minutes maintaining the target heart rate. So warming up, 20 minutes maintaining, cooling down, takes about half an hour, right? Now we have never exercised before. Don't do 20 minutes, do 5 minutes first. Maybe do exercise for 10-15 minutes for about 1 or 2 weeks. Once you are adjusted to that, then increase by every 5 minutes, 15 to 20 to 25, 30. So each time you stay there for about 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, then your body adjusts to that, then move up. Then you wouldn't have any serious problems. If you move up suddenly, you can get a serious problem. So advisable 3 to 4 times. So the best is joint exercise. Strength training, strength exercises. Now, because you lose muscle bulk, as you lose a muscle bulk, you lose a strength. Strength training is for the purpose of increasing muscle bulk. Not so much increase and maintain your muscle bulk. So instead of losing your muscle bulk, you can then, and you don't have the flap under your arm, that's why you do strength. It's important as you get, because if you have problems getting up, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or staying independent, one common thing that you do when you get up is that for elderly people, they need to sit up first, let the blood stabilize, and then get up, right? Because if you get up suddenly, you can fall, because this is lacking. Balance and flexibility is like, that's what happens. If you have muscle strength, you should be able to get up immediately. I test on myself, yes, I can get up immediately because I've been exercising. So that's what I mean, you can keep warm in cold weather, muscle burns off calorie due to muscle tone, and you train different muscles. And for that, really, you need the help of some nose. So you need to train the muscle groups in your hands, various movements, So if you train the muscle group in your hand, you will never get frozen shoulder, right? Because your muscle movement. And if you train the muscle group of your legs, you get less of the problems associated with them. So muscle strength is very important. So these are the kind of exercise that give you muscle strength. This exercise will also help you with balance. Okay. So muscle strength is for you to retain your muscles as much as you can. Balance exercise. As you get older, people tend to lose their balance, fall, and as you get older, you will discover that sometimes you've got these microscopic strokes in your brain. I have a few of these microscopic strokes before. How I know I have? Because once I discovered that I keep wanting to fall on the left, so I was admitted to GH scan. They did all the tests. They found that there was tiny stroke in a place called the thalamus. Microscopic, you can barely see. Maybe smaller than the tip of this pointer. So because of that, I couldn't balance. Of course, I've since exercised and I seem to have recovered. So balance is important. How many of you do Tai Chi? Oh, good. Tai Chi is very good for balance. Tai Chi also has a lot of improvement, not entirely due to the exercise, but due to the terahertz effect. As I say, terahertz, our body produces terahertz. Tai Chi seems to stimulate that. Heel to toe walk, heel, toe. See how often you can do it. That is balance. I can do a few steps. But you try it yourself and see how much balance you are still there. And as I say, an exercise coach should help you. So all this balance, and you can do it in a gym, you can do it. So these are necessary, right? To make sure that you don't get falls and get unnecessary. Flexibility, stretching exercises improve freedom of movement. How many of you still can tie a shoelace? Good. That's a good test of flexibility. Being able to stretch limbs in all directions and usually combined with strength. You want to move at the same time. And if you live an active lifestyle, do aerobic training, jogging, and also weight training, game. Yeah, you have a question? Now, do you play games? Well, games is a natural way, depending on what type of game, of training your body for balance and flexibility. Of course, you must have the strength and the fitness to play games. If you are not fit to play games, you can't play a game of football or basketball for that matter. My class recent anniversary, they have a football game. Celebrate. That's good because it means that we still can do it. We still can run after the ball. Right? So there you are. So stretching exercises, being flexible. If you play a game of golf, play badminton, they require you to stretch. They require you to balance because you need to run, put your weight there, right? All this. So one way, once you are sure that you have attained a certain level of fitness, you can play games to retain balance and various types of stretching exercises. I see a lot of people in the gym, they do all these stretching exercises to enhance their fit. Okay. The next thing is diet. We love to eat. Most people love to eat, but eating can cause things. The most important is that eating land up being obese, which itself isn't good. So we want to prevent insulin. What do we mean by that? When you eat, your blood sugar goes. And as we become adults, we become richer financially, can afford better food, can afford more food. So our blood sugar goes. But if you attend my talk on diabetes, you would know that the higher our blood sugar goes, the more your body produces insulin to bring the sugar down. And after some time, the body gives up. Your insulin, your blood sugar goes up, your insulin goes up. And so you reach a point where the blood sugar is high, the insulin also is very high. That means the blood sugar is no longer responding to the insulin. This is called insulin. When you become resistant to insulin, the name for it is diabetes. So if you are diabetic, that means your body no longer responds. This is serious because it creates problems in all organs of your body once you from your eye, brain, to your nerve, your heart, to your kidney, everywhere. So eat better, whole grains, fruits, poultry, fish, all the healthy things. You can say that this is an anti-aging diet. Indeed, some of this food, blueberries, avocados, whole nuts, certain nuts, right, are said to protect you against disease. These are called anti-aging foods. Lean meats, vegetable protein. Recent research indicates that red meats, butter and lard may be good. For example, if you use polyunsaturated fats, which is vegetable fats, to deep fry your food, what happens? Oil change, right? The trans fat, right? And trans fat is bad. Actually, it can cause all kind of health problems. But lard doesn't. I was surprised to learn that. Butter and lard, because our ancestors have been taking them for centuries. There's only something good about them, right? So that's what it is. And I'll show you a chart about the kind of diet that enable you to live as long as possible. Keep active, lose weight, keep your body mass index below 25. And if you want to know how to calculate your body mass index, your weight kg divided by your height in meters times the height again. So that will give you a body mass index. If your body mass index is greater than 30, that's considered obese. 25 to 30 overweight. Below 25 is mine is about 24. I do enjoy my food and an occasional beer or wine, so I'm there. And to reduce peak blood sugar, carbohydrates directly raise blood sugar. Very important. Sugary drink, honey, juices, added sugars, anything. Nowadays, I'm told that a lot of cooks, a lot of chefs put sugar in their cooking. They don't put Ajinomoto, they put sugar. Rice, bread, pasta, processed, any food, trans fat, that is polysaturated fats, they converted to trans fat. It's not healthy.
Almost everything.
Deep fried food.
Yeah, almost everything.
Unless you use olive oil to deep fry or use lard. Now lard is accepted. I've switched back to using lard. I've switched back to taking eggs because it's been shown that it makes no difference. That in fact taking eggs is healthy. There was a time you can't take eggs. There was a time when if I take eggs, I don't take the egg. But your body produces the equivalent amount of cholesterol equivalent to 5 eggs or more. So you take 2 eggs for me. That's what we know now. It has turned upside down a lot of myths that came about from research in the 60s, and it's been alleged that the research in the 60s was influenced by pharmaceutical companies. And so now it's been shown that margarine is probably worse than butter. So either dip in olive oil, take butter lah. After all, but I discussed with my wife, we find that we enjoy the taste of it. And now that lard is permitted, even coconut oil is right, we enjoy the food because food cooked with lard tastes better than food cooked without lard. Take all the best hawker stall, always turn out they use lard. That's why they're so good. So it's turned upside down because pharma companies want to promote anti-cholesterol agents and all that. So fiddle with the numbers, and they produce a study, the famous Framingham study. And as far as fats is concerned, it has to do with politics because Malaysia produce palm oil, right? So to knock palm oil and to promote their oil, they have this polyunsaturated fat, PUFA. It has been shown nowadays that PUFA actually is omega-6, and omega-6 promote inflammation. So when it comes to dietary, sometimes we have to be aware of some of the changes. Low glycemic index, that means food that don't raise blood sugar. High glycemic index means any food that raise blood sugar. If now they have this sensors which put in your body, you can monitor on the device or on your handphone. You can try, have some noodle, rice, pizza, anything after your meal. Your blood sugar goes up. Wholemeal bread, you won't see that so much. Nuts, you won't see that. In fact, nuts is called nutrient dense because nuts is supposed to have a lot of calories, but it doesn't raise blood sugar a lot. It's healthy. Similarly, keto diet. Keto diet is when you cut out sugar altogether. By cutting out sugar and eating only vegetables, meat, and fat, your body is forced to utilize fat. Yeah, if you're hungry all the time, that's one thing on the keto diet because you don't have the glucose, you see. But your body is forced to utilize fat, and so it's one of the fastest way of weight. So people also come up with almost keto. That means very little carbo, almost fat, protein, and vegetables most of the time. Fruits contain a lot of sugar, but fruits has other benefits, fiber. But fruit juices, no benefit. Intermittent fasting, small frequent meal. Why we want to restrict blood sugar? Intermittent fasting means that sometimes you don't eat, either for 6 hours a day or 12 hours a day, depending on the pattern you want to choose, or fasting alternate days, or fasting every 3-4 days you fast a couple of days. These are various ways of fasting. Should we all go vegan? Can you go vegan?
I put 80-20.
80-20. Completely?
Not is generally.
Well, some people can take a completely vegan diet. It has been shown that, and I have a colleague, when I was in England, I have a colleague, he was omnivorous like me, and then he go on a vegan diet, and he said it was very good. His mind could think clearer. Now, if you are like this on a vegan diet, fine, you can. Your body chemistry is built in that way. But there's some of us, including myself, where we go completely vegan. I did try. You get feel sleepy. It just doesn't work. But if you want to go vegan, you can. The recommended is go vegan for no longer than 3 weeks. Go on a mixed diet for another 3 weeks. Then go back to a vegan diet. Intermittent vegan diet. Yes, you can. But then again, all available evidence shows that you need a diet that is mostly vegan to be healthy, mostly about 50 to 80%. But you also need meat to have certain quality. But there again, there are people who go vegan and they are very good, like Bill Clinton, that American president, who completely vegan. Fine, you can. That's okay. So these things we should do all the time because this has an anti-aging effect. You live longer if you have, number one, good relationship with people you care about. But it also has been shown that how many people you meet in a day is also the amount of human contact. The more people I meet in a day on a daily basis, the more likely I will live longer. This you can enjoy all the time, and this you can enjoy. I think we enjoy this every day. Yes, you can enjoy sparing. This includes sinful food like char kway teow. You can have your char kway teow. You can have your steak. You can have whatever, but do it sparingly. And in fact, there's some suggestion that indeed beef may have some advantage. This was done, I believe, in England, where they showed that there may be some advantage in taking beef. But there again, you see, our knowledge changes all the time. We talk about the skin. As you age, you find that your skin becomes thinner, sagged. It becomes dehydrated. It cannot retain water. You go and see a beautician, they'll say your skin is very dry. It is dry because what? Lost collagen, elastic. Two proteins in your skin which make your skin fuller, retain moisture, and make it look smooth, nice. Wrinkles are caused by the destruction and the loss of collagen. And then if your cut scratches, it takes longer to heal. Your ability, when your skin loses all these things, your ability to sense touch, vibration, pressure, everything also reduce. That's why sick people have what they call pressure sores, right? From sitting too long or like, and then as you get older, you get deposits of melanin, the pigment, the skin, be prone to malignancy, cancers, get exposure to the sun, all this kind of aging, all the wrinkles, right? All the pigmentation. Diabetes is a major culprit because if your blood sugar is high, you produce this H. Diabetes makes you produce H. What is H? What does it stand for? Advanced glycation end product H. Diabetes makes you do that. Why? Because glucose will combine with protein or fat or any big molecule to form glycated products. And this glycated products have this effect. It destroys the linkage of collagen as well as other things. It creates reactive oxygen species, which is why you need to take antioxidants. These are the cause of oxidation, and antioxidants tablet this. But in your artery becomes stiff because it destroys the collagen. And in the skin, that's what happens. In the skin, it also destroys the collagen. And when it destroys, this is how it looks like. This is a result of diabetes, high blood sugar. One reason why we get to maintain blood sugar low. So these are some things that can do. Skin cancer, age spots, skin tags. Use SPF. SPF is sunblock. You don't need 80% or 100% sunblock. You need 50% sunblock is good.
What are skin tags? Skin tags are what?
Skin tags. Skin tag, that means outgrowth.
Outgrown.
Yeah. Some people have skin tags. I have a few, one on my shoulder and one behind here. Not many. Some people have more. Right? So again, this is used to sun. Retinol are certain chemicals which are prescribed by skin doctors. Very high concentration. If you buy them from the shop, they are lower concentration doses. So to preserve the health of your skin, wear sunscreen, sunblock, block off the UV light, sunglasses, protective clothing. Don't smoke. Smoking, alcohol make it worse. Smoking is toxic. There's no advantage to smoke. Alcohol a little bit is okay, but alcohol is sugar. Think of alcohol as sugar. 1 pint of beer is 1 big bowl of rice, and people who drink more than 1 pint. That's for sure. That's true. If you drink once a week or less, then it's not so bad. Binge drink. But if you drink every day, that is really. Yo-yo dieting is not recommended. Yo-yo dieting means you put on weight, then you reduce, then you eat and fat. Yo-yo, like I don't know what is it, but it's crazy lah. Don't do. Use retinoids or retinoids. This repair your skin, remove the pigments in your skin as well as a lot. It's used mostly by young people for their acne, because acne cause injury, cause the skin to rupture and wound there, and the wound will attract pigmentation of melanin. So people who have a lot of acne, especially in Singapore, hot weather, they get a lot of acne. As they grow older, they find a lot of pigmentation. Moisturizers and serums have the same effect if they contain retinoids and retinol. A diet rich in vitamin A and C, antioxidants. Get treatment for your acne scars as well as damaged skin. Microdermabrasion is a technique whereby you roll something on the skin that make pricks into your skin, basically damage your skin but allow your skin to repair. Chemical peels and lasers can be used. Terahertz lasers have the same effect. Terahertz lasers cause your collagen to increase. It's help in the synthesis of collagen as well as cause the collagen to contract so you look good. I will say a little bit more next slide or so. So skin peels and intermittent pulse laser IPL can be used for fine lines, dull skin, sun damage, large pores, skin tone, hyperpigmentation, acne. One thing of interest is that if you are pigmented, if you have melanin, white people don't tend to get, but people who are pigmented tend to get more of this hyperpigmentation than other people. So the benefits are you have a smoother skin, tighter skin, brighter skin, improved skin tone, clearer skin. So exposure to sunlight causes damage. And older folks who tend to have, as I said, those who skin is able to produce melanin, they tend to have this problem. Stress. Cortisol is due to stress. If a family history, where you see a lot of people have freckles, injury from acne, any infection on the skin can trigger it. Some medication can cause you to be sensitive to light, and your diet, if you don't have enough vitamins, B12 and folate, then of course this is melasma. Melasma are patches of pixel prevention, sunblock, prescription cream, retinol and retinoid products have an active ingredient that actually reverse your pigmentation and reverse a lot of dead skin. Vitamin C seems to work, and women have always used lemon or tomatoes for that purpose. Active ingredient, tomatoes is lycopene. Chemical pills, dermabrasion, IPL intermittent pulse labor. It's actually a combination of infrared and visible light, but very high energy. That's why only doctors. This is not high. This has a frequency, but the energy is not intense enough. That's why you can do it for self-help. That's why I say this is not a medical device. If this is a medical device, you need training to use it properly. All the medical devices, IPL and all that, doctors using it must be trained. Retinoids and retinol product, for instance, skin, what is prescribed by doctors, a higher concentration. So the person must be trained, prescribed carefully so it doesn't harm. This thing is non-medical. I want to emphasize it. Don't use it as a replacement for medical.
Where is it made? Where is it made? Manufactured where? This product manufactured where?
In China.
In China.
China is the country where a lot of, will you hear in the first one of my talk?
No.
Where I talk about recently there's this news that China is able to discover submarines under the sea. Same technology. Terahertz. So this is a self-help device. It produces terahertz waves, but the intensity is not severe. That's why it can be used on your own without medical supervision. These are the pigmented spots.
Each spot.
Yeah. These are the. Is it just a matter of beauty? If I don't bother how I look, never mind if I have pock mark all over, maybe, maybe not. Because remember, the thing that causes all these things can also cause cancer. One of the most severe cancer is a cancer of the face called malignant melanoma. Malignant melanoma can be hyper or hypopigmentation. So if you have too many melasma all over, you cannot tell.
How long you need to blow? How long you need to treat?
On the face, use a lower setting.
Lowest.
The least intensity.
For how long? 10 minutes?
I would say not more than 15-20 minutes depending on how I tolerate it. I blow about 7 minutes. That's not enough to do a lot of effect. Of course I go under the sun. That's why I can't completely get rid of all my but I'm not too fussy. If I'm fussy, I'll probably use one of the retinol. If you remove it, but it's a matter of being able right? Same age, but the skin doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So it's the way you want to present your. It also has a health component. So not entirely beauty. Yeah, females are more concerned about it. They put more things on her face. I know my wife put a ton of application on her face, but I don't. But I use it. I want to look healthy and feel, and that's the basis of all this. It's about health, because the thing that causes all these things can cause some serious health. And also because if your skin loses various functions, skin has several functions, and if you lose all this collagen, you also lose all. You become dehydrated. You can't tell whether you're not healthy. So that's what this is about. I just want to summarize briefly. Terahertz and diabetes is terribly important because blood sugar gives you a lot of problems. Terahertz has the ability to increase your resistance to oxidation. In other words, it acts as an antioxidant. And of course, we said that diabetes cause AGE, which can harm various tissues of your body. It prevents the harm. It can reduce the toxic effects of reactive oxygen species, ROS. So that's an antioxidant. Terahertz improve the blood flow, right? Prevent nerve damage, stimulate healing and nerve growth, and prevent damage to the eye, low level.
Low level. You must close your eye and then blow. You need to close your eye when you're blowing it.
You don't have to, but I think it's better to close our eyes. I close my eyes. Sometimes I open my eyes. Makes no difference. Too intense, it can harm your eye. The energy. That's why lowers energy set. Increase glucose uptake. Now, exercise reduce your blood sugar because when you exercise, your muscle will extract glucose from the blood, right? And when you extract glucose from the blood, your blood sugar will go down. That's why exercise is very good as an anti-aging activity. But Terahertz is able to do so. So what I'm saying is also that Terahertz has an anti-aging effect, reduce blood, and you can use far infrared, which is Terahertz, to improve the cardiovascular. Now, at the start of this talk, I talk about Terahertz effect. It open up blood vessels, so it can detoxify, activates water and the cell, so normal functioning, initiate repair, reduce inflammation, increase your immunity to infection, and activate DNA for repair. So really, this thing does help, do a lot of things help. What about the skin? It can reduce infection, improve your infection, improve healing, stimulate the synthesis of collagen, therefore reduce the dehydration, cause collagen to contract and tighten, so less wrinkles, downregulate hyperactive immune cells, so you get less inflammation on your skin, reduce the production of melanin, and metallic cancer cells. So cancers in the skin, if you're exposed to sunlight frequently, can appear anytime. If you blow this on the skin, not only it reduces the pigmentation, but it also can prevent cancer cells from appearing. And of course, it promotes the healing of open wound. Any of you practice meditation? Any of you do? Sometimes. Any of you do religious meditation? You are Christian or whatever. Meditation, you do. Good. Meditation, the effects of meditation has been researched for many decades now. And I've noted recently that a lot of people have gone into it and promoting it and selling courses on it. And in fact, Ng Song himself promotes that, isn't it? What does it do? Mostly it's promoted as a means of reducing stress, as a means of relaxation and so forth. But it causes muscular tissue to relax, increase blood flow. It produces dopamine, which is the pleasure hormone, produce pleasure, satisfaction. It increases your mental focus, memory, problem solving. It stimulates neurogenesis, new nerve growth. If you practice meditation, part of the brain to do a memory called the hippocampus produce more nerve. But more important, over time it produces gyrus. Gyrus is a fold inside the brain. Why they are fold in the brain? Because there are too many nerve cells, so to accommodate all the cells, the brain folded. It's been shown that mindfulness increase the folding. That means more nerve cells are being generated, and it stimulates activity of immune system. It has been shown in one research that mindfulness can reduce the amount of coughs and colds. It promotes telomere activity, anti-aging. That means telomere is a tip of the DNA. Telomere is a cap on both tips of the DNA, and it promotes the activity so that the DNA won't die that fast. In other words, it can prolong the activity of the and it causes changes that promote healing. It's very similar to Terahertz, isn't it? In fact, this has been noticed by some people do mindfulness or meditation with Terahertz. And an advocate of this mindfulness tells of an incident where there was US, they have a forest fire. So he was the victim of forest fire and his whole house demolished. And he suffered some of the effects. Because he practiced mindfulness, he recovered that much faster. It was a testimony to the effect of meditation. So that's what it is. People have been promoting it. A lot of people have been promoting this recently. There must be something in it. And there is something in it, and I try to practice it as much as I can, and it does help. So this and this combined. Meditation often associated with religious practice. It gives you meaning and purpose. Psychological correlates of a long life, right? If you want to live long, if you have meaning, you're more motivated, you're more energized, kind of thing. It's been said that 4 things are gratefulness. That's the word I'm looking for. Being able to show positive feelings towards others is something that will help you. And these are the kind of attitudes that are promoted by meditation. So what am I trying to say? To live long is about choices, being healthy and happy. Good habits and a positive outlook. Reduce your stress, spend time with people. So Terahertz is about living a happy, healthy life. Be serious, be productive, be able to earn an income, produce things that people want, and make sure you have lots of fun and repair and regenerate. Anti-aging. So you can use the Terahertz for a lot of things: inflammation, pains, blockages, and this is what why we encourage the use of Terahertz. Don't use it for pregnant women, disease, objects implanted, open wound, not so. It helps in open. Well, that's it.